How did Carol Dunitz come to start collecting Sarah Bernhardt paraphernalia? Almost a decade ago, I made the decision to write a musical about Sarah Bernhardt. At the time, I knew she had been a famous French actress. It was not until I started doing my research that I realized how famous. 100 years ago, she was the most famous woman in the world. I read close to 100 books in French and English to do the research. I started collecting programs. Sarah Bernhardt's most famous plays were Phaedra and Camille. Camille was the favorite of the audiences, of the public. Phaedra was the favorite with the critics. I have many programs. They date back to the 1880s when she did her first tour of the United States. Looking on Craigslist nationally, I happened to land on an auction that was happening in Oklahoma. So ultimately, I got in my car and drove 13 hours to the auction. What did I drive for? 3 original, authentic, there may not be any more posters like these for Sarah Bernhardt movies from 1908 and 1911. With all the books that I read, there were some that were written more recently. I hunted down the authors. One of these authors, David Menefee, has written 2 books about Sarah Bernhardt. We have become good friends, and David in his research met a man who was good friends with Lizzie Ann Bernhardt. Lizzie Ann was Sarah Bernhardt's granddaughter. Lizzie Ann shared some of her belongings with him. He in turn shared some of them with David. David gave me Sarah Bernhardt's eyeglass. That's another really special piece in my collection. A lot of these were written by historians, but a number of them were written by people she knew. Her granddaughter, Lizzie Ann, wrote a book about her. Lizzie Ann's husband wrote a book about Sarah Bernhardt. Susie Rueff, a friend and companion in Sarah Bernhardt's later years, wrote a book about her. May Agate, who was a student of hers, and Sarah Bernhardt did do some teaching later in her career, wrote a book about her. Rinaldo Hahn, a famous composer of her era and a friend of hers, wrote a book about her. Rostand wrote a book about Sarah Bernhardt. There were all kinds of postcards. People coveted photographs of her that, of course, that she signed. People collected and longed for letters that she had written, and I have one, a letter with the original envelope that has her logo on it. I've collected all sorts of playbills. In addition to the programs for the theater, I have a couple of programs for movies, and she was the first actor ever to perform in a full-length film. Some other things in my collection include stamps that were issued by the government of France, articles that she wrote or that were written about her. There's a commemorative pamphlet when she received the Légion d'honneur. So it's very varied, and it's a lot of fun to look at all these things and to share them with others.